Hello friends, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about this article here from Rock Paper Shotgun. I was about to sit down and start playing some ESO, and then this came up in my feed. It says, How the Checklist Conquered the Open World, from Morrowind to Skyrim. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, so the article is basically just covering like open worlds, how they're kind of at a disadvantage. Let me go ahead and read this part. So I used to love open worlds for, in a nutshell, being virtual environments vast enough to get thoroughly lost in with no guarantee of what I'd find. They were enveloping mysteries, tantalizing horizons. Nowadays, however, I regard open worlds as chores because they are designed so insistently, even desperately, around recurring activities and rewards. Wherever I go, I always feel like I'm walking on the spot. The open world's promise of scale has become its greatest disadvantage, inasmuch as that scale is now justified and structured by a surfeit of smaller, looping acts of content extraction, typically joined at the hip to live service fixtures which create a momentum for exploration that used to be supplied by curiosity and which conspire to drain the landscape of grandeur. Open worlds have never been larger in terms of acreage, but they do not spend your time well. And sir, Mr. Edwin with the crazy hair, Mr. Edwin, I can't agree with you anymore. Like, everything in this paragraph is exactly how I feel. Every single word. So bravo, sir. And then we go down here. And this is from the ZeniMax Online President, Elder Scrolls Online Director Matt Freor. Expands on the point by noting that audience for games nowadays has less patience for the sensation of feeling lost. Which I low-key kind of feel myself, you know what I mean? Because we're so used at this point with like the quest marker in front of our faces and go this way. Like they even got it to where it's on the ground now. You know, to where you're just literally following like a glowing line on the floor. And I think about that like while I'm playing those kinds of games, because I'm thinking like, I'm not even looking at the scenery, man. It used to be when I played a game, I would go up to every single room. I would look in every corner. Like everybody remembers playing original Baldur's Gate. You know, you have to get all the black off the screen. You know what I mean? You got to just expose the map as much as possible. Right? And then now we're just following a glowing line across the ground to a predetermined destination, by the way, and then collecting, you know, it doesn't even matter, penguins or chests or runes, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. We're collecting a bunch of shit. And then it says, he holds up Skyrim's Grandmarm. I don't like that. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind as an example of open world design that is no longer a practical possibility for a developer like Bethesda. And that's just offensive. I don't know, man. I don't like this sentence at all. It's no longer a practical possibility for a developer like Bethesda. To what? To make a good game? To make a good game that defined a generation that Xbox literally creamed itself over for you to make it for their console so that it would sell? Like, that's not a practical possibility for a developer like Bethesda. Come on, man. We can't do that. We gotta make Starfield. The wonky fungal island of Morrowind now plays like the antidote to the concise quest templates and heavy HUD hand-holding of later open-worlders. It's an obscure and formless landscape where the geography must be actively navigated based on scraps of information, with no baked-in Google Maps-style functionality to breadcrumb you to an objective, and players are free to go thrillingly astray. Wow, that sounds like a good game. That sounds like an Elden Ring, like Dark Souls. That sounds like most games that people consider good. World of Warcraft. I didn't know what I was doing in that game when that came out. When I was playing that in 2006, dude, I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was. I didn't know where I was going. People were talking about Alliance and Horde. I was like, dude, I don't know what that means, bro. Like, that's a good game. That's what that is. And unfortunately, that is no longer a practical possibility for a developer like Bethesda. Wah, wah. He continues, if you play that right now, there is no compass, no map. Literally, the quests are like, go to the third tree on the right and walk 50 paces west. Yes, brother, that's called good game design. If your level design, if your world design is so good to where like you can just tell people go up to the tree and turn right, like that's good level design. That means that you're making things distinct. And Morrowind had a problem with that, especially on like the Xbox. This super foggy, dude. And when I played it, I had a terrible PC, so it would like, you know, you get like 3 frames a second maybe. It was awesome though. And the point is like you just get used to it because you're learning. You know, the first time you see it, you open up the journal and you go, what, dude? And then you go back to the guy. And the guy's all like, yeah, dude, just go to the tree and take a left, man. And then you're like, okay, dude, whatever. And then you go up to the tree, you take a left, and then you find out where you're going. It's called learning, man, and it's okay. It's okay to fail for the first time. If you go up to the tree and you don't make it, guess what, man? That's okay. You could just go back to the last checkpoint that you started from, and then you could just go to the next one, and you could figure it out. You could spend less time looking at your phone screen at a walkthrough and then just look at the world and figure out how to do it. The water's fine in here, man. We can all be together on this. And if you did that now, no one would play it. Very few people will play it, this I believe. So now you need to give them hints and clues. And because nobody wants to really devote that much time to problem solving, like they want to go out and be told a story or enter or interact with another player or interact with an NPC. Like one of my best friends, okay, he's exactly like this. Like I was talking to him about indie games and how indie games are kind of like overtaking the AAA scene, right? And there's a chart on Steam that shows it over the last 2 years, and it's, you know, it's not like half and half, but it's gone up, and it's like an upward trend at this point. And he says, I don't care. And I was like, dude, everybody that's making these indie games, they're people that are from the developers that you like the people from Blizzard. They left and they made their own games. Like all the people that are working at these companies now, they're not even the people who made the games that we love. They're all out there making games that we love, like Julian LaFay. He's out there making Wayward Realms. Go ahead and support him. It's supposed to be the spiritual successor to Daggerfall. It's one of the only reasons I'm alive. Gotta play Wayward Realms, man. Gotta play the Wayward Realms. But he will always say, right? And he will always say, my friend, that he doesn't want to spend any time on the game. He just wants to go through it. He wants everything to pretty much be given to him. Anytime he meets a point of resistance, he gets upset at the point of resistance and then doesn't like the game because he's feeling resistance. And this isn't like oh, these Gen Z kids. Like, this person is, you know, older than me. You know, he's played old school games. I mean, he's a WoW head, but he's played other games besides WoW, right? Some of them. And this is the general mood. There was a study that came out from Digital Foundry, I think it's called, off the top of my head. And it basically said that the problem solving for gamers has gone down. People don't want to engage with it. So when this guy says, like, you know, this is his feeling, he's just looking at industry trends. You know? And as much as it offends me, like, that's the industry trend. If you did that now, no one would play it. How many games have you played, like Outward, you know, where they get bad reviews? You look through the reviews and it's people like, oh man, I couldn't figure out how to get over this part. Or, oh man, this thing is stupid. It doesn't tell you where to go. I mean, that's where we are now. Pretty soon you're just going to be able to select to like push a button to go to the next quest marker, like you like a travel to QT, you know, like you do on the PC when you're playing Elder Scrolls game. Just like that, just travel to the quest marker. Why do I need to walk, man? You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. Why do we even have controllers, man? Why don't you just play the game for me? You know? Just do whatever I want in my head. I'll talk. You could pay somebody. I'll talk to them, and then they could play the game for me. I guess we have that. It's called streamers, but still, it's not the point. All right, it continues. And if you did that now, no one would do it. Very few people would play it. So now you need to give them hints and clues. And because nobody wants to really devote that much time to problem solving, like they want to go and be told a story, you need your art spoon-fed to you, or enter and interact with another player, or interact with an NPC. Morrowind is a great game, obviously. It's one of my favorite games. It didn't act like it. But the way it's told, its story with the open world is a little out of date for the type of gamers that we have now. He's calling you stupid. Because Morrowind is just basic problem-solving skills. Basic problem-solving skills. I need you to go west. I need you to go until you see a grouping of 3 rocks. I need you to go right down that path. I need you to go until you see a tree. The only tree. And then I want you to take a left. And then walk forward like 50 paces and you'll be there. It's basic problem solving. This is how I got to my friend's house when I was a teenager. They just said, yeah, dude, just go up to the church on the corner. You're going to want to take the first right, second left. You're going to see a mailbox with a dog on it. Turn right. And then I'm the 5th house on the left. That's how I got around for most of my life. So the fact that if this is true, the fact that he's saying it, like he's trying to be nice about it, but like open world is a little out of date for the type of gamers that we have now. That means that you couldn't use MapQuest. Right? That's what he's saying. He's like MapQuest is too complicated for you. Thank God we came out with GPS, because somehow this generation would have, I don't even know, man. Where they're not all hardcore, they're not all PC or Generation 1 console diehards, right? Who are going to go out and invest as much time in this game as possible. Now that there are so many other options for players, you really want to make sure that it's engaging and fun, and wandering around a field trying to gauge 50 steps from a tree is not part of that anymore, which is kind of sad, because I'm old school. How bad do you feel for this guy, man? You know what this tells me? This tells me he's not making a product that he loves and believes in. That's what that tells me. It tells me he wants to make Morrowind, but he can't. Matt Feroor should give a call out to Julian LeFay. You know, add his talents there instead. He could make the thing that he loves. It doesn't have to be sad, bro. You could like realize your dream, because that's out there. And he continues, we now have to support both of those kind of hardcore players. I'm saying hardcore, that term is loaded, but the people that really want to take the time and live everything and make it difficult, and then the wider audience that really just has 20 minutes to burn. All right, Mr. Feroor, Bethesda, any game developer, you can make a game for this. This is like Helldivers. There's nothing wrong with being the type of gamer that just needs 20 minutes to burn, wants to hang out, do a couple levels of Mario, or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no judgment. No judgment. You have a place. 20 minutes to burn. I'm going to go shred some democracy, and then I got to take the kids to the pool. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Right? You can make a game for them, and people will love it. People love Helldivers. People love Helldivers. Right? Or you can make a game for these guys. Okay? What you can't do is make a game for all of them. Because if the game is for all of them, none of them are going to like it. None of them are going to like it. The hardcore players are going to say it's too casual. And then the casual players are going to say it's too hardcore. You know, like, and the thing is like, and then with live service games, right? Especially, they make it for the 20 minutes to burn. But you would think that these guys would be the biggest cash cows. You know, I wonder if these guys, the take to time and live everything guys, the hardcore guys, right? I wonder if they probably spend less on the game by aggregate, unless they're just like a whale or something, right? Than the 20 minutes to burn people. Because these people down here, they're like, I got more money than time, man. You know, I'll give you like $50, get me to level 80, you know, let me get on some raids, and then I'm out. Whereas these guys are like, nah, dude, I'm not giving you my card. I'm going to just go ahead and grind it out. I bet you that's the case. Anyway, I just find it a very interesting topic. You know, you can go ahead and read this. It's at Rock, Paper, Shotgun. It's written by, let me credit the author here, because he did a good job. Edwin Evans-Thirlwell. The beautiful man. But anyway, yeah, I'm just really worried about this. I'm worried about, this is Ubisoft. I'm worried about this being Elder Scrolls 6. This is what I'm worried about. I'm worried about, now that we got this acquisition, now that we've seen Starfield, you know, we all know what that's like, you know? Now that we've seen it, and we've seen this, are we worried about Elder Scrolls 6? I personally am far more excited for Julian LaFay's project, which makes me sad, because I am the biggest Bethesda stan ever. Bethesda is like Batman to me. Like, they can do no wrong. You know, with a little prep time, they can beat anybody. But I'm way more excited about Julian LaFay's Wayward Realms project than I am about Elder Scrolls 6 content. Especially if they got their, you know, lead designers and stuff. You know, and I know they like the ZeniMax and Bethesda Game Studios, and they're different or whatever. But especially if they got them out here being sad because they're old school and they can't make the type of games that they actually want to make, because the perception is that a lot of gamers are incapable of playing the game that they actually want to make. And this is why they're soulless now, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm going to play ESO now. So, love you.